welcome to Unmastered. I am Emma.
And I'm Gohar.
And we are uncut and on the record. So today's going to be a fun day. Me and Gohar are not in the same room for once.
Can you tell? Just by listening?
I hope you guys can't tell, because that would be a bummer. I'm off hidden in some secret bunker, trying not to drown in rain.
You're making it sound like I kept you in a dungeon or something.
You know what? You did not.
Okay.
However, I almost died like 9 times trying to get to you. So, secret bunker it is.
Okay.
So today is going to be a fun day. We've got someone here, there, with Gohar.
Yes, with
and
me.
I'm just there in spirit. We've got someone there that I'm super, super excited to talk to and interview. I'm a big fan of his music and everything he's got going on. So to start off, we're going to do a couple of little icebreakers. Please tell us, what is your name? What instrument do you play? What's in your ideal smoothie? And if you were a crayon, what color would you be? Take it away.
All right. Well, thank you both for having me. I'm very excited to do this interview. My name is Steve Solomon, and I'm in the music duo called Scatterplot. And the other member wears a red mask and tuxedo, and he was here earlier snapping a couple of pictures, and he had to leave. I think he had another masks appointment. So
that's a good one.
Yes.
That's a great
He and I may or may not be getting our inconspicuous locations on later.
Oh, good.
Who knows?
You're in incognito mode.
Exactly.
So that's my name, and you'll have to. So I know you said, what was it? Your favorite crayon? Is that what?
No. What crayon would you be?
Oh, what crayon?
What crayon color would you be? But why don't you start with telling us what you play?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Start with the basics.
Yes. I play keyboards, and I'm the singer in the duo. I'm also the songwriter. The masked man kind of dances and moves, and he helps with just the visual aspect. But I'm the keyboard player, songwriter, and singer.
Let's just say the masked man is like the visual director.
Yeah, no, he is. He gives me feedback on what I should wear before a show, and of course he knows what to wear. And let's see. Then the crayon question is, what crayon would I be? Is that
what color crayon would you be, and why?
The color crayon I would be a dark green color, just because green has always been my favorite color. It's very natural looking. I mean, even though like red is probably my second favorite color because that's what we chose for the mask dude.
Yes.
Yeah. But I would say dark green is just a really pretty color to me.
You know,
I'm
like
definitely
green, I would say.
We gonna figure this out. Go hard.
Yeah, there's a little delay.
Yeah, would you say it would be like a hunter green, because that's a really popular color these past couple of days
I don't know
in the
what
fashion industry.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Well, yeah, if you might know. Well, I don't know what the hunter green color is, but
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm a huge fan of hunter green. Like, I've been on
like
the hunt for a like hunter green corduroy jacket.
Yeah.
Is like the next thing on my list. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm a big fan of hunter green.
You like poker table felt? I like that.
You know,
that's a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, I feel like it's got a darker undertone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. But yeah, some shade of green, I suppose. And what is the next yet? My memory.
It was, what is in your ideal smoothie?
Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, yes. Ideal smoothie would be some blueberries, strawberries, and maybe a banana. I don't know. That sounds pretty plain, I guess.
That sounds delicious. What are you talking about?
Okay, good. Then I take that back. Something.
Are you the kind of guy who adds like yogurt or juice to your smoothies, or is it just like all fruit?
I'm not really a smoothie guy. I'm more of like a milkshake person. Like
that's totally different.
Which is
favorite
different.
place to get a milkshake and what's the flavor?
Okay, well, man. Okay, I'm from Chicago. There's a place called Potbelly's in Chicago. So unfortunately, they don't have them in LA, but they have great shakes. In LA, oh man, it's been forever since I've had what's it called? Mel's.
Mel's Diner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good place.
Great place.
What do you feel? Building. How do you feel about the In-N-Out shakes?
They're good. I eat too much sugar sometimes, and I feel like In-N-Out has a lot of sugar in their shakes. That's not scientific, but I'd be fine. I mean, like
its base is ice cream, so I'm imagining there's a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah. I like the mint shakes. I love mint shakes.
Oh,
mint, like minty.
Oh, mint.
Chocolate mint.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Shamrock shakes. Like, you know how like every St. Patrick's Day, like McDonald's will have their Shamrock shake, and it's their attempt at a mint shake, and it doesn't even taste that good. Does Mel's have mint shakes? Is that where I can get a good mint shake?
There you go. Well, we need to go to Mel's Diner.
There you go. I'm down. I'm getting paid by Mel's to promote them.
Sponsor us, Mel's Diner, please.
Yes, sponsor us.
And Thrifty's Ice Cream also sponsor us, please.
Like an ongoing.
We can eat your milkshakes on there.
We always end up talking about like really, really great things that we like, and we're always like, sponsor us, but no one ever does.
We're waiting for the day to interview the 1975, just so that we can tell them that every single episode we talked about them.
Really? Well, the tradition is carrying on. We're talking about them right now. Well, you like the 1975?
Oh, we love them.
Do you have a favorite album?
Yes, I Like It When You Sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
My friend is just turning me on to the 1975. I mean, I know them, but the name, but...
You know what it is? It's, not everybody is into their style, number one. And number two, when you do get into them, you find your favorite, like, era of music. For me, it was their second album. Emma, which one's your favorite?
I don't know. Like, I think it depends on, like, the mood. Because, like, for me, I think the first album, like, their deluxe first album has a lot of, like, really, like,
it does
slow songs. Like, there's a song on there called, like, Antichrist that's, like, amazing. But then on their second album, they have a song called If I Believe You, which is like so good. I feel like every time I listen to their second album, I always find something about it that I didn't notice the time I listened to it before. So I think that's such a cool like aspect of it. And then the first album, like, they've just got some really like slow, like deeper songs that just like hit me right in the chest. And I appreciate them for that.
Yeah. And this new Music for Cars era that they're splitting into 2 different albums, I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it has this is how I'm perceiving it, has a very political stance to it.
It does, but like they do it tastefully. I get the feeling that I'm gonna like part 2 better than I liked part 1. I don't know why I get that feeling, but that's the feeling I'm getting.
Anyway, not to talk about the 1975 the entire hour, but you should listen to them.
Yeah, I'll continue to listen to them.
Yeah.
Thanks for the recommendation.
So let's talk about you.
Yes, let's.
So Gohar, I want you to tell everyone how y'all met and how he even came to be on this podcast.
Sure. I remember every single moment of our first
Actually,
encounter.
wait a minute.
Wow,
I want it from both of your perspectives. That's how this is going to go.
Oh, okay. This is going to be fun. I think you came in with your dad.
You're correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I remember everything, not to brag.
Where?
You came in and you were looking for a cummerbund. By the way, I work at a tuxedo shop.
There it is.
Shout out to...
it's called Gregory's.
Oh, yeah, Gregory's.
Gregory's Tuxedo Shop in North Hollywood. Don't stalk me. Okay. And Steve came in with his dad, and I think you were off to a performance because you were already dressed, and you were just needing a cummerbund.
That's
and
right.
I'm like, oh, cool, where are you going? Because I like talking to people. I'm here 9 hours a day by myself. And so,
sounds brutal.
Yeah, I like the company and no one's around. And so when people come in and they're about to go somewhere, I'm like, ooh, let's start a conversation. And then you're kind of like scattered because
I was.
You need to go somewhere.
I felt bad.
Get it?
Yeah.
Quick. And I'm just like slowing you down, trying to have a conversation. And then you said, well, your dad said that you have original music, and I'm like, okay, let's do
That's
this.
Right. He probably slipped you the Scatterplot card.
Yeah, I got your personal one.
Oh yeah.
Where it says that you do like a whole bunch of special. Huh?
Hello.
Oh, okay, cool. I just didn't hear you for a sec.
You dropped off for a split sec, but that's okay. We're doing this and we're having fun.
Yeah. So your dad was saying that you had original music, and then I slipped him my card, and I'm like, I have a podcast.
Right.
And then it was one of those exchanges, and then I remember looking you up. I didn't, but I remember Emma about it for like a hot minute, and then it slipped.
Your card, because you gave me your card.
Mm-hmm.
The power of card giving.
Yeah, it really is.
Or you gave my dad or something, and he gave it to me.
Is he your manager, by the way?
I mean, you could call it, definitely, he gets me a lot of piano gigs, and he's definitely... But I would say that's a very accurate depiction. I felt bad because I wanted to get out of there because actually I had a gig. I had a piano performance in San Marino. Mm-hmm. But before that performance, it was actually my birthday. It was...
Oh, happy birthday.
Thanks. Like that, or the day after I met you, that was my birthday. So I had like birthday lunch with my friend and my girlfriend.
Okay.
And my dad. So we went to Porto's after, then I went to my gig. Mm-hmm. So it was a wild day.
Everyone always talks about Porto's. Like, what is the hype? Like, what is it? And like, what is the hype? I don't understand.
I have this cake. It's the tres leches cake, and it's the most fantastic thing I've ever tasted in my life. Yes, I do get cakes from other places, like Gelson's, and because my birthday's in the summer, I get my cakes from Baskin Robbins. But Porto's make it with a lot of love and care.
And expensive.
Exactly. It's just you have to endure the line.
Right, yeah, it's really it's very popular.
Does it like taste like more authentic or something, like homemade-y and not like commercial, or what?
Yes, it definitely does not taste like a commercial, but they pretty sure do mass produce.
I have like some giant. Hello.
Hi, you guys keep cutting in and out.
Cutting
I was just about to text Bill.
I don't know why
is it cutting on the recording, or is it like Emma's connection?
I think it's the recording.
Yeah, do you want to play back any of it? Or?
You know what we can do, Gohar, if you're comfortable with it? We could save it in chunks and then edit the chunks together. That way, like, we don't lose anything.
I don't think they mass produce anything. Well, they, of course, not too close to mass produce it and then distribute to their stores. I don't think that's what happens. I think they make the stuff in the bakery.
Yeah, I mean, everyone hypes it up, so, I mean, who knows? I'll have to try it. Can you guys tell I'm hungry? Like, we just keep talking about food. I just
had Mendocino Farms with the Masked Man.
Where's that?
It is on Ventura and Hazeltine. I went to the wrong one because I thought there's one that's opening on Ventura and Laurel Canyon, and they're both on Ventura, and I thought the one had opened by now and it hadn't, so... I was like late.
Where would that be? At where the Kinko's is?
The new one? Like Trader Joe's.
Oh, that area.
Studio
my
City.
Gosh. That's where the McDonald's used to be.
I know, yeah.
They freaking closed a McDonald's.
Are you happy or sad about it?
I just can't, I can't believe it because if America equals McDonald's, you know?
I know.
And the fact that it closed and it's like a healthier restaurant.
Oh, way healthier, yeah.
So
it's like vegan and vegetarian.
That's insane to me. But it's not insane also because it's next to a Trader Joe's, number one. Mm-hmm. It's next to Crave Cafe, if people in Los Angeles know about Crave Cafe. CBS Studios is across the street from there.
That's where I do my shopping. My groceries. Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's, that's where it's at. I have
to hang out.
My dentist growing up was right a walking distance from that Trader Joe's.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's where there's, like you said, that studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's really shot like Seinfeld and all those.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's good to know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I should. That's what I've heard.
So what I'm understanding is we're gonna field trip it to Mel's, and then field trip it round 2 to Porto's.
Sure.
And then we can pop in to stay there to Trader Joe's to do some grocery shopping because we're all adults here.
You should do like a mobile podcast, like at Mel's. And we could like.
Oh my gosh, we could. We could do that, but like it would be so noisy in there. We'd have to like pay everyone $20 to shut up.
Yeah, you have to like. Yeah, you could go in the corner.
Instead of this microphone where it catches every word you hear, we can use one of those. I don't know what the difference is. You know what they're called? The one that you have to put super close to your face.
Yeah. Something. I mean, like maybe a pencil mic or cardioid. There's some names.
We can use lavaliers.
You can look at. Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
We can call ourselves Unmastered on the move and like just go places.
Okay, future editing Gohar, write that down.
All right. Well, as much as I love talking about food, and as much as you can tell how hungry I am, I want to know all about Steve and Scatterplot and the awesomeness that is this project. So, to start things off, I just kind of want to know, you talked about how you play piano a lot and you had some piano gigs and stuff like that. I also read somewhere that you had like a piano debut at Carnegie Hall. So I want the full piano background leading up to Carnegie Hall and then tell me how that was. But start at the very, very beginning.
Sure. Well, if you want to start from the very beginning, I'm an 80s baby.
Yes, the very beginning.
Born November 89.
Oh my god.
Best decade of my life.
89, that's the same year that Top Bunk was created.
Was it? Yeah, there you go. And Taylor Swift was born a month after me. And
really?
So, yeah.
Was she December? Oh, god.
December
that makes sense
13th.
because one of her albums was called December. I'm just putting all these dots together.
It was called 1989.
1989. And then another.
And I don't even like Taylor Swift, but I knew that.
Yeah, it's just clicking for me right now. Okay.
Nice. Okay, so I started piano when I was 4. My parents were smart enough to sit me down at the piano, and I guess I was like just an average student from like 4 to 10. I don't remember any of it, of course. I remember little things, but by the time I was 10, I had this family vacation where I heard some jazz music playing, and I was so fascinated by it.
You like jazz?
Yeah. I ended up studying jazz in school.
Ooh.
So when I got back home from the vacation...
If you don't mind me asking,
sure.
What school did you go to?
I went to Western Illinois University in the middle of the tri-states of Illinois. Middle of cornfields. It was a good time. Yeah. So, but then at age 10, so I started learning some jazz, and my dad is great. He's like very into my music, and he's a very proud stage dad. And we went to Eli's Cheesecake Factory in Chicago when I was 10, and there's a piano there, and the story goes something like, "Hey, can my son play the piano? He's really enjoys playing it." And I sat down on the piano, my feet barely touched the ground,
Nice.
And I started playing, and the manager said, "Hey, why don't you play a couple times at Eli's, and we'll give you cakes in return, cheesecakes." So my first paid gig was not exactly paid; it was through cheesecakes, and this was like 2000. So that after that, the rest is just history. Where I just do more and more gigs in Chicago, and I'm playing, I ended up playing for like mayors and governors, and went to Disneyland in Las Vegas and played once. And
you played in Disneyland?
Yeah, that was like Disney World. I always get Disneyland and Disney World mixed up. No, the one in California.
Yeah, then it's Disneyland.
Disneyland, yeah. Yeah, I was just playing at the cafe, like some cafe for a little bit. That was fun. I remember it a little bit. I was like 11 years old. So I just kept
playing.
were
you playing all of these shows like at like 10 and 11 years old? Like, is that when you started, like all of these shows that you just mentioned? How old were you?
This is around 10, 11, 12.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I played at this restaurant in Chicago called Leona's from age 13 to 17, and I was so shy. I never wanted to do it. But that's how I got my fear of playing out of the way. I just kept on doing it. Just pushed through it. And now I love it. I love interacting with people and playing. And around age 15, I started songwriting. Around that age is when I started getting my heart broken and started, noticing the opposite gender. Yeah, and for better or for worse, that's where the songs come out of. So I started songwriting, and before you know it, I won my senior year high school talent show doing an original song called You've Got No Personality, and the kids ate it up.
Nice.
Yeah. And I went to Western Illinois, studied music education, and I studied jazz piano and classical piano. Some really great teachers there. But the whole time in college, I was songwriting more and more. I would do jazz during the day at school, and then at night, I was in a band. We were originally called Marcos and the Mac Daddies. Crazy name. The guitar player was named Marcos, and we're like, let's name it Marcos and the Mac Daddies. So, I was doing band rehearsals, and we'd go on little mini tours in the state, like to Illinois State University and Chicago once in a while. And that band kind of changed and morphed into another great band name called Stoplight Jones. Stoplight Jones. People always get us mixed up with Spotlight Jones.
Is that another band?
No, it's just like Stoplight kind of looks and sounds like stoplight. People just misspell it.
Spotlight.
Yeah. So you can't even remember, right? We were called Stoplight Jones, like the stop sign.
It's the same letter. Wait. Yeah, it's the same letters, just switched around a little bit.
If you're dyslexic, it's terrible. You think it's Spotlight. But so I was doing more and more original music. I was getting into that so much. I was loving creating. That it was like the highest form of music making to me. But in college, my sophomore year, I was in a jazz ensemble that teamed up with two Italian musicians, one that conducted and one that played clarinet. And together we went to Carnegie Hall in May of 2010. So it was with a jazz ensemble. And, I had some solos, and I was featured a little bit. And it was amazing to play that piano and be in New York City. So that is the Carnegie Hall in a nutshell story.
Nice.
So how old were you when you did Carnegie Hall? Early 20s?
20.
20. Wow, that's so impressive. Oh my gosh. You're like a little freaking piano prodigy right here.
Yeah, right. Well, I love piano. Piano is my original love, It's been very good to me.
I love that. And I love I love that it was you were 10 and it was cheesecake. Who gets to say that? That doesn't just happen to people. So I think that's so
it's definitely
awesome.
A story that you would say on a podcast. That's
right. I
feel
one
like
day
that's
I would
your
say this on a podcast, this very story. So that's why
I feel like that's your party trick. People are telling interesting things about themselves, and you're like, yeah, when I was 10, I got my first gig. I was offered cheesecake. You would win, hands down, if people were trying to be this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. That would win.
Well, I'll tell you really quick. The almost coolest thing that happened to me was when I was around probably 13 or 14. Somehow my friend got me this audition for this movie, and where they needed kid musicians. And I walked into the audition, I started playing, and they were liking it. I was playing some Elvis or something bluesy, and the people that were auditioning me were really digging it, and they were writing stuff down, and they asked me hey, how long have you been playing? And I stopped playing the piano, and I say, about 4 years or 10 years.
Perfect.
And I was going through puberty, and my voice was dropping that week.
Oh God.
Of that movie. And they looked at me and they're like, oh, does your voice always sound like that? And I was like, yeah, just going through some stuff. And, who knows if that influenced it, but I didn't make it to the next round. And the movie was School of Rock.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
So that is my almost claim to fame. And then what got me was they ended up casting this Asian nerdy kid, and I'm half Asian. Not saying I would.
I know who the guy that plays Lawrence.
Oh yeah, which guy
on the keys.
Keyboard? Yeah, that was his name, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could have been you. Wow.
Maybe. You never know, but with that voice, my voice happened to.
Oh my god, I can just imagine. He didn't have a lot of speaking roles in that though.
Did he not?
I don't think
No.
so.
But we'll never know now.
No, I watch School of Rock all the time.
Yeah, great movie. So that's my most famous.
You're mentioning that you studied jazz and you played a lot of like blues music and stuff like that. Where does that influence come from?
That definitely, Chicago has a big influence on, Chicago's rich with jazz and blues. I've been lucky to have a couple really great piano teachers. My piano teacher, Julie Levison, in Chicago was my teacher, and she still is in many regards, from age 4 to 18, and she really showed me so many jazz elements, and I had some great teachers in college. Those are some influences. Just being in jazz bands, and Chicago Public Schools had some cool jazz programs. There was a program called Merit School of Music that I was in that was really informed my jazz playing and blues playing. I would say that it's really interesting because I listened to music as a kid growing up, but I'm not like, I wasn't like an audiophile like some people are. They listen to music and they lock themselves in the rooms for hours. I wasn't like that. Like,
I'm totally like that.
What's that?
I'm totally like that. Like I will listen to music. Like I can't drive my car without turning on my Spotify. Like it just helps me concentrate. Like even when I do homework, like I'll listen to like the Stranger Things like original score because I can't not be listening to something. Well,
now I listen like now I'm obsessed. But for some reason, I know I listened to music when I was younger, but it wasn't like an obsession listening like it kind of is now. Now music fascinates me because one, it is, it's my job, but two, music is a never-ending stream of new music out there. You'll never listen to everything.
I have a quick question.
What I think is super interesting is that like how you listen to music when you're younger. Like even if I look at myself in like a freshman year of high school compared to now, like that's like 6 years. Like the way I listen to music then and compare it to now is so different. Because like then I'm just like, whatever, I'm listening to music, blah blah blah. But like now it's like I hear things I didn't used to hear. I pay attention to things that maybe a producer did intentionally, and I recognize it. So I think that's a cool thing, is how if you're someone who really loves music, to see how you evolve in your own listening of music and like how you hear certain things. So I think that's something that's been cool to kind of at least see in myself.
The second I change my setting or I listen to a song in a different way, I always hear it. I always hear something extra, so I wanted to like jump in on that, because no matter how many times I listen to a song, for example, If I Believe You by the 1975, no matter how many times I listen to it, every other time there's some new element to it. Like I think you'd like it because it's kind of jazzy bluesy.
Oh yeah, I know.
At the end there's a trumpet solo, and it's just, I want to cry.
Is it a trumpet or a saxophone?
I'm pretty sure it's a trumpet.
Okay. Well, it's been a cool minute since I've listened to that song.
Yeah, you should. Everybody go onto your Spotify's right now.
Well, then that band has done their job if they really tug at your emotions like that. That's what it's all about.
If I'm in the emotional state where I'm not having this urge to cry, I listen to the song in a completely different way, and that's how music gets you. Before this, I had a question in my head. Mm-hmm. You said music is your job. For a good chunk of the people that we've interviewed so far, they have other jobs that bring them income while they pursue music. So it's kind of like a glorified hobby for them at the moment until they start producing an income. But for you, I'm imagining it's different because it's not just Scatterplot that you're doing. As far as music is concerned, you're doing other things.
Yeah.
What are all the, if you don't mind,
Sure.
if this is not a Scatterplot interview anymore, it's a Steve Solomon
Sure. Who happens to be in the band, Scatterplot. Yeah. No, sure. Well, right, I mean, I really have 2 jobs out here, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the piano gigs, I'm lucky enough that's my bread and butter right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the Scatterplot original music gigs is not paying any bills, at least not right now, not yet. Hopefully, it will in the future. But I moved to LA. I think there's a whole nother podcast you could do about musicians that moved to LA.
Yeah,
that's a whole so many. Everyone's a transplant here, and I'm no different. But I moved here to do original music because I think there's a lot of opportunities here, and Chicago has a lot of opportunities too. But LA is just like the music capital of the United States, and in many ways, the world is one of the big. So I wanted to come out here for that, to do original music. But in the meantime, I knew I could it took me a while to set up the piano jobs. It took me a good 5 to 6 to 7 months before I started getting like more steady piano jobs, because I had to get new clients. I had to establish myself out here. So I'm really doing kind of 2 things. That's why I love it, but there's never a down minute. There's always something I could be doing. And I'll tell you, the third idea I have it's interesting because about the beginning of every year I get like some crazy idea. Last year I thought I could become this day trader and do investing and technical analysis of stocks.
What?
Yeah, I know. For some reason I was like, oh my god, I want like this. I just got to read charts and stuff. And I started going to like these meetups from like January, February, March of last year. And my conclusion after those 3 months was like, nope, this is a whole nother language. If I really want to be good at this.
I can't believe you lasted 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like, I was reading some stuff, meeting some people. I wasn't like doing it like crazy, but yeah, for about 3 months, I thought, oh, maybe I could do this. But I came to the conclusion that it's going to take me years, and I'm going to have to get up like at 6 a.m. to meet the New York stock market open, and I'm not a morning person. So I was like, forget that. But this year...
Would have been easier if you were in Chicago.
It might be, because 2 hours later, yeah, that's where the time zone difference comes into play. But this year, I have this idea where I think I can become a Spotify solo piano artist. And by that, I mean, I think there's a big market where I can record... I can record a bunch of, like, mellow, relaxing piano music, because I love improvising.
You know what you need to do? And, like, so make the really mellow stuff that's, like, beautiful to listen to, that like people could like put on when they want to fall asleep or take a bath or like at a fancy schmancy dinner party. But like one of my favorite things to do when I do my homework, and Stranger Things isn't cutting it anymore, is listen to piano or violin versions of like pop / like rap songs. Like
covers.
That is like a whole other market in itself.
Sure. Well, like, what's it called? Postmodern jukebox? Is that what it's called?
Well, like
they kind of do that, yeah.
Yeah, like they like, oh my gosh, like I had a playlist going for a cool minute, but like there wasn't enough artists on Spotify that did it, and so there's maybe like 3 people, and like one of them I wasn't a huge fan of because I just didn't like the way they played. So I was always like, oh my gosh, there needs to be more people who do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully maybe I could be one of those people.
I think that's a good aspiration to have, being a Spotify solo artist.
And so since we're on the subject, this will be good for any musicians listening. Where do you Emma and Gohar, where do you find new music? Do you find it on Spotify, radio?
Oh, half the stuff I find on Spotify, and the other half I find either opening or main acts at concerts or showcases.
Oh, cool. So
because I go watch live music as much as I can.
Awesome.
It's freaking fantastic.
Absolutely. Where do you find... So you said Spotify is where you find it, Emma?
Here's the thing about Spotify, though. Yeah.
I cut out for like 2 seconds. But For me, I think where I find music, it's gonna be Spotify, and like I'll just like once my playlist is over, I'll kind of just let Spotify run its course, and I'll find stuff that way. Or kind of similar to Go Hard, like I'll go to shows and there'll be like a really really great opening act, and then I'll go see that opening act perform like a month later at their own show, and they have an opening act opening for them, and then it kind of becomes this like domino effect of like me discovering people opening up for other people.
One of my favorite things to do on Spotify, which more and more people are discovering, by the way, for your Spotify account, you have to have your own user profile in order to claim an artist profile. Right. And if you have your own user profile, that's where it shows what you listen to. And if you choose to be the type of account where people can see what you're listening to, oftentimes me as a fan, more now as a friend, but as a fan, I would go onto the artists' pages that had playlists as the artist, like I'm going to put out my December playlist or something. Mm-hmm. And when you click on, it was created by this user, it's usually the user profile, not the artist profile. And if you follow that profile, you can see what that artist is listening to. I do this with Lost Boy Crow. I do this with Honors. Wow. I do this all the time with all these bands. And so if I'm on desktop, which I am most of the day, you can see on the side here who's listening to what in your friend activity.
Right.
If they're the type of user to show what their activity is, of course.
So I should make sure my friend activity thing is turned on.
Is on,
right?
Yeah.
Because then people like you can see.
Yeah. Right. So I discovered an artist named Codis because
oh my gosh, and she showed me Codis, and now I love Codis.
Yeah, he was being played by Honors on their Spotify, and I'm like, if this band is listening to this artist, they must be good,
right?
And they were good.
Oh really?
So
Codis? How do you spell it?
Cotis.
I'm not gonna lie, it's like really like poppy, but like not in the. How would you describe it? It's like I call it like nighttime pop. Like I'm gonna listen to it while I'm driving, like in my car, like bumping music.
The type of music that both Codis and Honors have, I like to call dark pop. Same as Aurora Vice, they have dark pop.
Yeah.
It's
nighttime
kind of
pop, dark pop.
It's kind of trappy, but at the same time, it has a lot of pop undertones to it. But it's something that you definitely do not listen to. You don't listen to it like on your morning drive to work. That's for sure.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Unless you want to wake up.
I beg to differ. I have listened to it on my way to work to get myself like hyped in the zone for the day, to be like, yes, I can conquer this day. I'm a badass. Let me listen to this dark pop at 6 in the morning.
So to all of our listeners, if you want to discover music in non-conventional ways, I definitely recommend following the user profiles of your favorite artists.
I didn't know. Yeah, so can you see like the 1975?
Those are the.
I think
I see. That's their.
They don't have their friend activity activated.
But if they did,
I would be able to see. So if you had a playlist down here created by Scatterplot or whatever your user profile is, I would be able to go in and follow that user profile. Here, let me do one as an example. While we're on the air, let's do Lost Boy Crow because we love him. Not quite yet.
Yep.
We're going down to his playlists. These are the things
we should just do like a screen like recording of this so we can show people how to discover
on our YouTube
music.
Channel. Yeah. So here are a few of his playlists. Some of them are things that he created, and other things are things he follows. So let's go to this one, where it says "Spin the Globe." That's the name of his.
I love how we're doing the tutorial with Lost Boy Crow, whom I love deeply. Check out his new song, Orange Juice.
Yeah, it's great. As you can see here, it says created by Lost White Crow, and when you
Very
click
cool.
on that, it's right here, and you could just hit follow, and it shows up in your friend's activity here.
Nice.
The last thing he was listening to was Jeff Davis Country Blues, The Mountain Goats.
Wow. Man, I'm gonna do that with Scatterplot, because you never know when someone's gonna
It's
see
hard to find a user profile unless they have a playlist on their artist profile.
it. Right, okay.
Just an
How to
FYI.
navigate.
This turned into a quick tutorial on Spotify.
Hey, that's
We will. You know what we should do? We should actually record a screen grab so people can see what the heck is going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think you should totally do it with Scatterplot because it's such a fun way to connect with fans, but in a very subtle, different way, and it's just super cool because it's a way for people to get to know you a little more.
Well, I have this playlist of all the songs I want to check out, and it used to be public.
Yes,
so I might have to make it public.
Definitely.
It's called "What Is Scatterplot Listening to Right Now?"
Yeah. That's right. We're quite a ways into the interview. I want to go into the first time.
Sure.
I'm sorry, the first song. You gave us 2 songs, one of which is unreleased.
Correct. Is that
I want to do that second.
Okay,
Let's talk about it's called Downtown Chicago.
on a stormy afternoon?
Yeah. Let's talk about that because
Sure.
you have a couple songs about Chicago. One of which also is Two Cities, One Love.
Right.
Give us a little backstory on downtown Chicago, and then we'll play it for the audience, and
Sure.
then we'll go from there.
Well, I'm so excited you checked it out. I'm so happy to hear it. I mean, I know you have to for the podcast, but I'm always happy.
I
when
was a
people
big
hear it.
fan of the song. I'm not gonna lie. I was really very, very impressed by it, and I loved it so much.
Oh, thanks. Well, that song, I start all my songs. I start writing on piano, and I just sing the melody and all that, and then I produce a demo in Logic, and after that, I'll try and take it to somebody to mix it and produce a little more and master it. And Downtown Chicago on a stormy afternoon is no different. Started out as an idea on piano and voice, and a lot of these songs I've written a couple of years ago. This one was written last year, I think.
Mm.
The second song we're going to hear was written 2 years or even longer than that. But Downtown Chicago it's about my favorite time of the year in Chicago. And I suppose, if you don't live in Chicago, this could apply to wherever you grow up. Ask yourself, what's your favorite time of the year in Los Angeles? Do you have a favorite time?
Spring.
Spring? Right, me too, for LA and Chicago. But I always love June in Chicago, specifically, for some reason I've always loved the first, 10 days or so of June in Chicago because it's, warm and it's still, the days are getting longer still. And I know that definitely inspired me to write this song because the first lyrics are downtown Chicago on a stormy afternoon. 3 ships were sailing on a lake in the middle of June.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted that imagery because, a lot of people may not realize Chicago's on a really nice lake, Lake Michigan. And I just thought it'd be fun to have those visual images up. And then I just elaborate from there. A lot of my songs, I'll just kind of freestyle in my head and just kind of sculpt the melody and the lyrics and the harmony and all that until I get something that I think is really good. So, yeah, I made that last year, and I put it out last year, and here we are now, talking about the song.
We are here now.
Yeah, we sure are.
Let's listen to it.
Downtown Chicago on a stormy afternoon. 3 ships were sailing on the lake in the middle of June. I've been waiting all my life, couldn't let this pass me by. Now I'll pack my things and run to you. Monroe and Lakeshore on a Sunday afternoon. Chicago, and I gotta be there soon. I trade my riches for a day in the middle of June. I would love you all the time. We could love the rest of our lives. I would leave this LA life for you, for you, for you.
Just heard Downtown Chicago on a Stormy Afternoon by Scatterplot. That's your number one song on Spotify. Did you know that?
Oh, is it? Oh, good. Does it change? Sometimes other songs?
It depends on the activity of your profile for that particular song. So if there's like a new release, even though it's not the most played song on your Spotify, if it's the most active song at the moment, it's number one.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Look at that. And that knocks off my Christmas album, then that's good. Mm-hmm. It's not Christmas anymore.
No. Let's talk a little about your transition to LA, because like I said before, you had a couple songs about Chicago, downtown Chicago being one of them, and then the other one is Two Cities, One Love.
Right.
So.
Yeah, well, those Two Cities, One Love is, just my love for both cities. Because I do, full disclosure, as a kid, I didn't like LA. It was big and scary, and
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I was totally. I always was a Northern California kid. I always loved San Fran and all that. But when I realized I should move here for the music, I moved here in 2015, and a fun fact, I'm a huge Cubs fan, and my first Dodgers game was the Dodgers versus Cubs game right when I moved here, and I saw a no-hitter, and I was like, oh, my dad was there too, and that was like a sign that, oh, maybe this will be a good move. And so far, it's, of course there's your usual peaks and valleys, and transition was never that easy, but I didn't come here with a lot of stuff, and I knew a handful of friends and family, but I didn't know a whole lot of people, so it was a chance to really start over in many ways, which I like. It was a chance to, of course, keep my old friends in my hometown, but I was able to kind of like meet new friends and kind of start my social circle over. Mm-hmm. So it was like this wild adventure, and I looked hard for a place, and I found this really cute guest house in Laurel Canyon.
Oh, nice!
And so that's the same place I live now, and in fact, my landlord just texted me, and the power's out.
Oh, wow.
Because we're in a huge snowstorm. A rainstorm.
Yeah, that's funny. I was like, here?
Rain was brutal.
So, yeah. But so I'm in the same place, and it's been 3 years and change, and overall it's great. I love it here.
Laurel Canyon is a great area.
Yes, very inspiring. Very inspiring.
Well, not too far from here is the Arts District of North Hollywood.
Yeah. I remember the first time I visited here, someone told me to go there. It was really nice to check out.
Yep, super legit. I love it. Emma, you should visit there once you're here again.
Republic.
You know what? I'm so surprised I haven't already, because the amount of times that I'm
go to Republic
here,
of Pie. That's the same. It's in that area.
Where it's where?
Did you see Liddy at Republic of Pie?
Yes, shout out to Liddy Clark. We love a good country artist. Yes, I went to the
of Pie
Republic
is
of
in the
Pie.
North
It's right down there.
Arts District. That's where it is.
Wow. See, I'm a big fan of arts districts. Like, I just think they're so cute and like they feel so like homey and like eclectic, and I'm a big fan.
Okay, let's...
Well, now that we've learned a whole ton about you, I want to kind of talk about Scatterplot as a project and as this really cool, funky thing you've got going on. So, Scatterplot is a duo with you and the Masked Man, who is seen basically wearing a red mask and a very snazzy tuxedo on stage. Got a lot of questions. So
do I.
I guess we'll start with, how did this concept of the Masked Man become a thing? And then once we figure that out, I kind of want to know more about his role as a part of the act and like why he is in this duo.
Sure. Well, one of my music principles is, how can I be memorable, not just musically but visually. I mean, for better or for worse, people hear with their eyes, so
yeah, you eat with your eyes too.
Yeah, right, exactly. If something looks really good,
candy.
Yeah, food looks really good, you might be more enticed to enjoy it more. So really, that's I just thought to myself, what can I do that's memorable, that's weird, that's shocking? And my friend and I, a couple years ago, developed this idea of, hey, Steve, you should wear this red mask and tuxedo. So I used to wear the red mask and tuxedo, which I know is probably confusing to people that saw me transition and bring someone else in the band, but I used to wear it. And I don't wear it now because it was too hard to see on stage, and it was kind of awkward, and I mean, it's even a little tricky to breathe. So when my guy wears it, he can't wear it for that long because he'll sweat like crazy.
So does that mean you cut his appearance on stage sometimes because he has got to take a break, or? I
mean, our sets are only, they're not more than an hour really ever, so he can go an hour and we'll be fine.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We just... Our last interview was with Satellite City, and they have 2 spacewalkers in which they wear space helmets covered, and they get...
do a show.
They get...
Costume show, yeah.
Oh, they get really... sweaty,
yeah.
And they can't see, they can't breathe.
I bet Daft Punk gets sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
They probably have coolers.
I didn't think of that, but now you have a point.
Yeah.
Well, there should be a masked show, like a showcase. Sure. We'll have Satellite City, we'll do Scatterplot. Any other bands out there with masks?
We'll get in touch with Deadmau5, maybe Marshmallow will come through.
Yeah. We'll just hit him up. I know a guy.
So I have a question. So you said you were originally the man behind the mask, and now you have stepped forward and are no longer the man behind the mask and added a second person to this duo. When I first saw this masked situation, I almost wondered if it was like, is this masked person meant to be an individual completely separate from you, or like was it like an alter ego or something? Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, is this like an alter ego or another personality, or are you guys meant to be 2 very separate entities?
What we want to come off as are 2 different people, because he is someone, he's another person. But I totally see how people can think it's some kind of alter ego. And to be totally honest, I mean, we're still developing how we want to present ourselves. I mean, we're still in the early stage where no one knows who Scatterplot is. So we're still developing it. And I suppose, I mean, if I think one day that, oh man, everyone thinks we're an alter ego, I mean, I'm not going to change it just because everyone thinks that, but are you going to
roll with it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to roll. We're a duo. I mean, he helps me with the music and definitely the visual stuff.
Yeah. So the Masked Man, like, what is his contribution to any of like the music and or songwriting process? Is he involved in that in any way, or is he mainly meant to be visual and like a dancer and like stuff for the live aspect of things.
He is mostly a visual Instagram puppet. He's there to help visually, but he is a musician, and he has given me some feedback on the songwriting. I'm still pretty much the sole songwriter, but when we hang out, he doesn't have the mask on, of course, but he'll hang out and
he just walks around with the mask at all times.
He's very self-conscious about his looks, so he likes to hide. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, but he is pretty much a visual, the visual entity of Scatterplot.
He, like, speaking of like the visuals, like, so he said you guys sent us over some photos, and like, cool, and like this masked man.
You said you kind of broke apart there.
Oh, okay. I was saying that we had you send us over some photos and some pictures, and just talking about that visual aspect of the masked man and this tuxedo and this red mask. Like, these photos are so cool because it creates this very like funky aspect. Like, there's this one photo, super super cool, of you guys both like standing in front of this mirror, and like this angle is so cool, and like it's very eye catching. And
also, you can
like
see
even
the
when
camera.
you perform on stage, like
in
what?
You can see the camera. You can see the photographer.
Oh,
can you really?
Yeah, you can.
Wow, I did I did not even see that.
You can see.
You know
there,
what?
I know you can see
I didn't even see it either.
But on the
okay.
one,
I pay attention.
Yeah, good eye. I know.
I'm a
big
big fan.
What's that?
Of this.
The mirror.
I'm a big fan of this like couch as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Good.
The couch one is good.
There's this photo of the two of them sitting on this velvet couch, and like the masked man is just kind of like looking at him, and there's this plant. It's just simple, but like it's very like it captures your attention. And like the live photos, like you see you performing, and then in the background there's just this thing standing there. In some ways reminds me of Slender Man, but
yeah, people will say like, hey, are you Slender Man, or are you like Spider-Man or the Blue Man Group with red?
With red.
With red on. I mean, yeah, people are shocked by it. I mean, my ex-girlfriend like hated the mask, so there are people that get really creeped out by it, understandably.
I'm a fan of it. I think it's different and cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we're trying to be. I mean, we want to make great art and be original. That's all we want to do in a sense.
So the masked man definitely dances around on stage. Is there any like rhyme or is there choreography that's planned, or is it just like spur of the moment? This is what I'm doing.
All I tell him before we go on to do a show is just follow my emotion. So if I get really loud and wild, just follow that. And because he's really good, and if I get really mellow and quiet, just be more still. But we don't have anything. We probably should plan out some dance moves. That'd be cool. But he's pretty good at mimicking me, and I smile and interact with him.
That's good. You know what? Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt with a SpongeBob reference right now. Okay.
SpongeBob.
No.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Emma. Sorry.
Let's talk about
she didn't watch SpongeBob.
I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob as a kid, and it's
really?
like had
Just
this long-term effect on me, and like everyone's always making references that I never understand.
Do you know that episode where SpongeBob is like indoors with like a tissue and then a penny? And,
yes.
And he's like singing a song about being indoors, and then he's like, "Take it away, Penny."
Oh. Well, now, no, actually, maybe not. But is it a newer?
I would say not original 3 seasons.
Oh, okay.
But he's like indoors, and when I think of Scatterplot and you doing your thing and you're singing, you're like SpongeBob, and then you're saying, "Take it away, Penny."
Yeah. Take it away, Masked Man.
To the Masked Man.
Yeah.
That's what I think of. So if we have any SpongeBob fans in our audience, that's kind of what the feel of the band is. Just letting you know.
Oh, we're ready.
Oh my god.
Oh, sorry, Emma. Are you here? Sorry, we were just
talking about SpongeBob. Okay.
What?
You really need to watch some episodes.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
Watch a few episodes and we'll talk.
I wanted to ask about the keytar and like
Ooh, yeah.
how
I have that in the back of my head because
that up and like how you in the what?
There's a lot of people who want to walk while playing keyboards, and I think the keytar is the perfect tool for that.
Yes.
But while interacting with somebody on social media, they said that they are a lefty and they can't use keytars because there aren't keytars for lefties.
Oh, no way. I never thought of that.
There aren't keytars for
I
lefties?
think it was Christian French who said that. Yeah, that's insane,
Wait,
right? And
that's so disappointing because I'm a lefty.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I guess, well, but piano players, I mean, so does Christian, like, does he play piano like dominantly with his left hand then? Because you don't need to be left-handed or right-handed to play piano. I suppose if you're soloing.
I think it's more of the act of like, because like when I pick up a guitar, like if it's facing like it for like a righty, like it just doesn't feel
right. Okay,
natural.
Oh, that's
so
right.
maybe it's just that like action of like holding it in that position.
I see what you mean. Right, it's like a guitar. Yeah, if you're you need a left-handed guitar. So I guess you do need a left-handed keytar. I've never thought of that. I guess if there's a demand for it, someone should make it.
I think there was a demand for it, and someone attempted to start like a Kickstarter for it, but they kind of failed with their goal.
You can't just like swivel the keytar, like see on this picture. I know the audience can't see it, but it's like tilted out that way. What if you tilt it that way, and I kind of just...
But you're grasping it with your left hand, aren't you?
Right, yeah. I guess you can't do that with that keytar.
Audience, anyway. Let's discuss. Everybody, pull up a picture of a keytar.
No, you're right. I guess you need a left-handed keytar.
Yeah.
Wait, so how did you start playing this keytar? Like, how did this become a thing?
Let's see. Well, really, I mean, you really nailed it on the head because the reason I wanted to do keytar was so I could be mobile. Mm-hmm. Because piano, you can't unless you pick up the keyboard, but you're not going to do that. So I wanted to be mobile, and I started doing keytar with, if you recall, the Stoplight Jones people. That's when I started doing it. Mm-hmm. It just felt natural. I would play. I would have the keytar on a stand on my left hand, and in the right hand, I'd have another piano. So I'd play bass in one hand and piano in the right hand. And sometimes I'd pick up the keyboard and go into the audience. It's really cool because my keytar has batteries and it's wireless, plugging into the speakers. So I often run into the audience, actually.
That's cool.
Yeah. We like an interactive performance.
Sure, who doesn't, right?
So I am very interested in playing this new song of yours that we've got. So please tell us more about this song.
Sure, I'll tell you more.
What's the backstory behind it and all that good stuff.
Sure. More. I think I'm saying that 7 times. That is basically, it's just a song about wanting more in a relationship. I did a co-write several years ago with a music friend who I had a crush on, and we didn't write anything during that co-writing session, but after she left, I ended up writing 3 songs, like, all in 2 hours, because I had so much, like, I wanted to say and get off my chest. One of them was called More, and it's just, give me more of your love and your admiration. And that's where it came about. And I just love repetition in songs, so I had to repeat it and give it an obnoxious name.
There you go. It's just like 2 Time, but the 1975. It's got like
2 Time,
the name like 2 Time, 2 Time, 2 Time, 2 Time, like 3 different times.
Okay.
I'm a fan. All right. Can't wait to hear it. We're going to go ahead and play that for all of you to hear with your wonderful ears.
Yeah, just
here's more
quick, though.
This is Scatterplot.
This is an Unmastered exclusive, by the way.
This is not officially out, so this is the first time that
we love exclusives.
Debut.
We love the exclusives. Yeah. This is not our first exclusive, so
okay, great. Yeah,
I feel really good about it. All right, let's listen to more.
place I was with my very first queen. Drop my anchor like a vessel in the bay, and tell me that the coast is clear, and tell me I am yours. Give me something more than just a taste. Let me feel those pretty notes in your perfume, and tell me that you are so bad, that the baddest of them all. Lead me on and shut the door, it's just never enough. I gave you sugar in the dark, and yet another bump. More. Give me something more than just a taste. Give me something more than I can take. How can I wait for you more than a month or two? More than I think that I can wait. More. Give me something more than just a taste. More. Give me something more than I can take. Give me something more. I can hardly wait.
You just listened to More by Scatterplot, Unmastered exclusive. You heard it here first. Thank you for featuring your new song onto our show. Emma, I think you have a couple more questions to finish us off.
Yep. We got a couple questions just at this end of this. Since we talked a lot about you as an individual, as a musician, as a pianist, and about you in this Scatterplot duo, I wanted to know how is performing as Scatterplot different from your personal performances as a pianist?
My personal performances as a pianist they're actually more, have you seen La La Land?
Yes.
I love that movie because I really feel like I'm that piano player. I do a lot of background gigs. A lot of times I do interactive piano gigs, but a lot of times my piano gigs are kind of background, and I'm sitting at this nice piano at a fancy house, and I'm playing all covers. I never do originals. Although, what I'm going to start doing, I might throw in an original subtly, see if anyone notices, like, hey, ooh, that was a good song, what is that? And I'll be like, oh, that was an original by the band I'm in. But the piano gigs are all covers, and it's a little less interactive usually. And
that's so interesting that you do covers. Why is that?
Basically,
is it just because that's what people are going to know?
Yeah, it's a people pleaser type thing.
Exactly. I mean, people hire me to do piano gigs because they want to hear Billy Joel and Elton John and all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. All those hits. Because they just don't recognize anything. If I did an original.
Just like you hire a DJ to play at your birthday party just to listen to some Drake again.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
You know what? Good point.
Right.
Great point.
Thank you.
But the Scatterplot stuff is all originals, and right now I'm using backtrack. Sometimes I'll use a drummer, and it's just a total different sound. Mm. It's electronic and with some orchestral sounds, and different feel and different.
Have you ever written any original piano, I don't know what the correct thing to call it would be, but any for classical or jazz piano? Have you ever written any songs for that, or is most of the originals for the electric and the keyboard?
Yeah, most of my originals are like into what you might call the indie pop genre, where it's like alternative.
I was gonna say,
and it's a lot of 70s sounds too. A lot of people tell me, "Oh, Scatterplot has so many 60s and 70s sounds," which makes sense. I love those decades.
You have a couple of slow songs in your discography, but you have a couple of tunes that are like dancey. Your more upbeat stuff is definitely the kind of music that would be played at Dance Yourself Clean.
Oh, really? Like the Daft Punk? Where do the Daft?
Dance Yourself Clean is an event in Los Angeles. They have it at a place called The Satellite.
Oh, I've never
I
heard
think
of it.
they also have it up in San Francisco as well.
Really?
And it's
I think it's Seattle.
And Seattle? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do one in Seattle.
Yeah, and so it's pretty much indie pop, indie rock.
Wow,
it's like dance music.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yes, you should definitely write that down, and you should definitely find a way to play it, because I think you would be awesome.
Yeah, they do performances there, 2 songs max. Performers play at midnight, and it's definitely your kind of sound.
Can I make a voice memo?
Oh,
do it.
Future Steve, write this down.
No, it's on my phone. I'm really nerdy. I do voice memos, so
go for it.
Check out Dance Yourself Clean. It's like a live showcase, kind of.
No. It's a DJ. It's a dance party.
Oh, okay.
It's a DJ. It's a dance party, and at midnight they do a performance with a featured band.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know what? We will email you all about this.
Sure. Well, I made a voice memo
that way you
on my phone
have it. But your voice memo apparently wasn't up to par according to Gohar standards.
Nope,
that's okay.
It was not.
You gotta get the facts right, especially in the States.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I have enjoyed talking to you very much. I want to know, what are the future plans for Scatterplot? What can we expect in the next year / couple months?
The next month, on February 26th, I hope you all will check out more.
Yes.
More, because that's going to be officially released, and I'm just hitting up a lot of Instagram profiles and blogs and Spotify playlists to see if I can get them to play it.
Nice.
So that's next month, and if I do this right, I am hoping to go to Europe with me and the Masked Man and do a few shows, like on a very small mini tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And that'll be in May.
That is
if I can pull it
impressive.
off. Yeah, but don't hold me to that. I'm contacting venues and people now.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. I definitely think you can pull it off, and that would be so fantastic.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And if anyone out there knows cool venues or places to play in Europe, I really would like to do like some house concerts.
Oh, we love house shows.
Yeah,
house shows are so fun. I went to my first house show last year, and I'm like a big fan of them. And I just think the environment and just the energy is super fun and super unique.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's
so.
it.
I guess all that's left is plug your socials.
Yeah.
Where can we find Scatterplot on the big web?
You can find Scatterplot by typing in, on all the social medias, Scatterplot X. Scatterplot and then the letter X.
Is there a reason behind that?
Yes, because all the Scatterplots, just the name Scatterplot was taken.
Mm.
And I didn't want music. It just, I could. It just kind of seemed plain and it was too long.
Nah, I like the X. It's cool.
Yeah, the X is like the trendy thing to do for social media. And you can type in Scatterplot music on Google and you'll find me.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Scatterplot on Spotify, and then the website is scatterplot.me. .me.
Do you have?
Nice.
I think you have a couple music videos on YouTube. Am I wrong?
I have just some montages and me playing piano. I would like to I should get a music video together.
It's always a good idea. People are visual,
especially with the mask stuff.
Yeah,
In fact, that might be something I'll try
your
to do
brand.
next.
Yeah.
That should be on your to-do list for this
year.
Yeah.
Future Steven, write that down.
There we go. All right.
Voice memo.
There you go.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us and for joining us on this podcast. This has been super fun. So yeah, thank you so much.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you both.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I thought you were enjoying this entire
without further ado, this has been Unmastered, and we'll chat with you next week. Just kidding. In 2 weeks.
We'll chat with you next
You know
time.
what? You'll hear from us when you hear from us. It's cool.